welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Taylor and today we're doing a yes, no, maybe on popular book talk romances. But before we hop in the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you love all things books. So I believe I hopped on the book talk train about 2-ish years, I guess 3 almost years ago, because I think it was 2021. It might have been 2020. Oh my goodness, it's been a hot second. But I have slowly gone through some BookTok famous books. And if you're anything like me, you're the kind of person who, if I see it so much, I am more inclined not to read it. So I haven't read all of the very popular BookTok books, and there's going to be some I'm not going to be mentioning here today because either they're S&P novels or we no longer support the author, for those reasons. But there is a good list, healthy list of 10 books / romance series that we're going to be talking about today. So if you are interested in hearing my thoughts on these popular BookTok romances, let's hop into it. Now, the first book that I'm going to be talking about is probably the OG famous BookTok romance, and that is the eponymous The Deal by L. Kennedy. I read this one early last year. I think I read it in the first or second week of January 2023, I guess, because last year would have been 2023, And I was real excited. I was like, I guess I fell victim to the hype of this book because I've been liking my sports romances. The first true book talk, spicy talk romance that I read as an adult was a sports hockey romance. So I was real excited to dive in and see what The Deal brought me. But for me, this one is a no. Now, I will say I have been interested in picking up the rest of the series as of recently, so you can tell me if the rest of the books get better or not from here. I believe they are all on Kindle Unlimited as of right now, so we'll see. But for me, I think people always talk about how, one, Garrett Graham is the hockey book boyfriend, and two, this book, it was written, I think in 2015. It was written in somewhere around the mid 2010s, and everyone's like, this book just ages so well. And to me, I'm like, no, this book did not age well, and I think it could have just been the time that I was reading it. There was this one comment about Miley Cyrus that I was just had me feeling like the major ick. And I think that probably took me out of the story. And I'm not saying some authors can't make some authors that I'm going to talk about in this have made some questionable comments in books that I may or may not have overlooked. But this one to me really did not stand the test of time in my opinion. So for me, this one's a no. Next up, we're going to look at the dark romance that seems to have taken the world by storm, and that is Butcher and Blackbird. This one is interesting that it's taking the world by storm in the sheer fact that it is about 2 serial killers, who take part in a serial killing competition to see who can kill the worst person, because they're serial killers who basically kill other serial killers / bad people, and in the process they fall in love. And I will say, I definitely like the Mindfuck series. This is graphic. It is a bit gory, and man does it have, I think this one for me is interesting to see it take the world by storm just from the amount of things that make me go, ugh, when you read it, because she does give trigger warnings. Some of the scenes are that makes you want to throw up your lunch, doesn't it? But overall for me, I think this one is a bit of a maybe. I did enjoy it. I thought it was a fun read. Dark romance is not my vibe all the time, so to me, I think this one is a mileage may vary situation. If you're not a spicy reader, not for you. If you have a weak stomach, not for you. But if you're into it, it's definitely a bit of a slow burn situation. I think this one is more fun for those who love a bit of a thrilling romantic suspense novel. And in terms of the second book that just came out, Leather and Lark, I attempted to start reading it on audio, and then I realized why I don't like listening to spicy audiobooks, because my brain was just automatically cringes at everything that is said, and I'm yeah, suspense of belief here is not available for me. So I'll probably have to pick it up physically to read it. But for me, this one is a maybe. Your mileage may vary. Then we have a popular cowboy romance, and that is Done and Dusted. This one is another maybe for me. It's a cute little cowboy romance, and now having read Elsie Silver's Gold Rush Ranch series, which I'm not going to talk about in this video because I'll probably do another video all on Elsie Silver down the line, I kind of I respect what Lila Sage did here, but when I read it, I was adamant that I really didn't like cowboy romances, and it took Elsie Silver like weaving a good story for me to like it. So I ended up giving it like a 4 stars. I think it was good. It was not great. It's a maybe for me. It's got your whole like brother's best friend, like, you know, city girl, like girl returns back to town, realizes she might be in love with a guy that she just like did not get along with as a kid and stuff like that. I think I'm just more interested in like the third book, which is going to be the like rivals to lover situation. So it's not one that I essentially felt the immediate need to go out and pick up the second book in. I don't know, I've kind of been maybe interested in picking up, but we'll see. To me, this is a maybe. Well, really, it was a no for me, but a maybe probably for the populace, so to each their own, but it is a short, quick read if you want it. Let's move into some romance series here, and that is Dreamland Billionaires by Lauren Asher. So this is the second interconnected standalone romance series that she released. I did read all of her books in order, but this is the only one I'm going to be talking about here because I do want to do a standalone Lauren Asher video, so leave your comments down below about things or questions you have that you want to see in that video. Also, I do own physical copies of some of her books, but since I don't own physical copies of all of them, and it would be a pain to hold up all of them here, I'm just going to do the pictures here. For me, this is a yes. This is a yes. Lauren Asher is one of those authors where some of her earlier works, some of the comments she made in the books, I'm like, okay, some of the comments she makes in the books I don't think will stand the test of time. I'm just going to say that. Some of the things have said that. But her writing is so unbelievably bingeable. It's just quick. It's fast-paced. It's so easy to consume. And her stories just make you want to giggle. They make you want to kick and giggle. Scream, kicking, and giggle. Whatever. Kicking, giggling, and screaming. That is the word. My favorite book in this series was Final Offer, which I think is controversial because it's the longest. It's probably the one that deals the most with heavy topics. And it's usually, I think it's people's, like, least favorite. I think most people prefer Terms and Conditions. I can't remember how I felt about Terms and Condition. I can't remember where I'd rank it. Probably goes Final Offer, Terms and Condition, and the fine print. The fine print, it's just fun. I will say, so this is based off of a fictional Walt Disney World here. As someone who was a Walt Disney World cast member, the first book was a trip reading about these fictional cast members here because I was like, oh, good for you. Like, good for you, honey. But yeah, I will say she does try to tackle some hard topics here, so I can't say whether or not in Final Offer addiction was handled well or not, but I did enjoy it. That was a 5-star read for me, so do go in and check your trigger warnings on these. Then let's hop into another popular dark romance series, and that is the Ever After series, I think is the name of it, by Emily McIntyre. This is Hooked, Scarred, Wretched, Twisted, and then recently Crossed. I haven't read Crossed. I think I'm waiting till the fall to pick it up, but who knows. This is essentially a series of dark romance reimaginings of popular fairy tales. So the first one is Peter Pan, the second one is The Lion King, then Wretched is The Wizard of Oz, the third one, Twisted, is Aladdin, and then the fifth one is The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and then the next one that's coming out is going to be The Little Mermaid. So for this one, it's a mixed bag. I will say overall the series is a maybe, but in terms of like enjoyment, the first 2 books, a yes for me. The second 2 books, I think they can be a no. They can be a skip. Like Hooked and Scarred. Like Hooked I read in one day. It was just like a quick read. It was just interesting. Scarred, the main female character, she's my fave. And then Wretched and Twisted, I was just like, you really said, nah. Really just eh. And then Twisted had an age gap in there that I was not a fan of. Even though by the point they got together, I think she was 23 and he was 36. I believe it's a 13-year age gap. But knowing the fact that he had worked for her father and known her since she was 15, even if there were no romantic feelings at all present there, still don't care. Don't care. Made me feel some type of way. Do check trigger warnings for this. Also, there is some spicy content, particularly in Wretched, that you may or may not find questionable. So I'll put the series as an overall maybe. but that's where it stands. Then we have my first 100% absolutely must read, yes, and that is the Lovelight Farms series by B.K. Borson. Business Casual just came out, which is the fourth and final book in this interconnected standalone series. If you don't know anything about the series, every romance takes place or is set during a specific season, and Business Casual is actually set in fall, so I'm probably gonna wait to read it in the fall, even though I read the first 3 books all at Christmas time, even though they all weren't set in Christmas time. But this essentially is a small town romance series that follows members of this small town. I think it's Inglewild is the town. I'm not completely sure. It's been a minute. And it just kind of follows these little cutesy little romances that take place. I've heard her newest one might be her like most spicy book, but overall these are relatively low spice. There is spice, but they're relatively low spice, and there's just a great relationship building. It's just sweet and cute, and the found family in this just absolutely amazing. 100% recommend this. My favorite book in the entire series so far is Mixed Signals. That was a 5-star read for me. And man, Caleb. I don't remember his last name, but he's the MMC in Mixed Signals. Love. It says a lot that of all the physical copies that I buy these kind of separately. I bought Mixed Signals first, and I still haven't bought the others, but I will get all physical copies soon. But highly recommend. Do go read. Pick it up if you're into that small town romance. Ooh, and then we have Icebreaker, or the Maple Hills series by, Maple Hills series by Hannah Grace. This was the first spicy romance, Kindle Unlimited romance that I read as an adult. And I'm just going to say, for the nostalgia, Icebreaker is such a yes for me. However, I can recognize that Wildfire, in my opinion, is a better book. And then Daydream, from what I hear, because it comes out next month, the book that we've all been waiting for, Henry, is even better. For me, this entire series is a yes. Could nostalgia be clouding my judgment? I don't know. But this is a book series that I think the number one thing I can say, and I can do like a whole video like breaking down like Hannah Grace's writing, even though she's only got like 2 to 3 books out. She really focuses on the whole communication, because in both Icebreaker and Wildfire, there's really no third act breakup, and they're both focusing on these characters growing together and learning how to healthily communicate with each other. I will say Icebreaker, the epilogue, gets me every time, because it's just like, that would not happen that fast. I'm like, you really were like running, like you were like going from 0 to 100, I feel like, in relationship. In that time frame you set that up happening. Yeah, but I highly recommend. This is a yes for me. I think mileage may vary based off of the reviews I've seen, but if you like cutesy hockey romances, this one's for me. I will say the second book is a hockey romance, but it's set during the summertime at a summer camp, so there's not a whole lot of hockey, but I still liked it a lot. This would not be my channel if I didn't throw a queer read up here. And we're going to talk about Heartstopper, because Heartstopper Season 3 is coming out soon-ish, maybe? I don't know. All I know is Jonathan Bailey's going to be in it, and then Nick and Charlie are coming back, and it's just great. Heartstopper, 100% yes. I will say, if you're not a graphic novel person, I don't know how you will feel about this, but I've seen a lot of people who haven't read graphic novels before, get into it. And I don't think I really had read a graphic novel before this either, so I loved it. 100% yes. This is just cutesy, queer, like young queer romance that we've gotten that I absolutely love. I will say the show itself expands upon this universe so much better than I think you can really see. So the novels primarily focus on just Nick and Charlie, but if you go to watch the TV show, we get a lot more relationship development of all the other side characters. That means it's pretty much all queer cast. So yeah, these are quick reads, fun reads. I think they're very important for the time that we are in, to show beautiful, simple, just cute queer love, and I will always recommend these. If you want queer graphic novel recommendations, I do have my Pride recommendation video, but I can also do a whole week of just reading queer graphic novels, so let me know. Then we have The Summer of Broken Rules by Kale Walther. This one is a high maybe. So this book itself, I really enjoyed. I think I gave it 4 stars when I read it. It's been a minute since I read it. I think I read it last year, maybe it was the year before. Okay, let's not ponder on that. But this one is interesting to me. So Kale Walther is an author who writes books based off of Taylor Swift eras and songs. So The Summer of Broken Rules, I believe, is based off of Lover. Although it does have a lot of Fearless references in there. I think it's based off of Lover, but there's a lot of Fearless references in there. And then her other book that I read, which was one of the first books, and maybe the first book she put out, which is Maybe Not Meant to Be, was based off of the song You Belong With Me. And then Meet Me at Midnight is based off of the Midnight's album. And I think the next one, I'm not completely sure what it's going to be based off of, but that's the whole vibe and gist that she puts out. She puts out books, that young adult novels that have these romances weaved, like interspersed with like harder topics. So Maybe Not Meant to Be was interspersed with the whole like one of the characters was closeted and afraid to come out situation, and then the Summer of Broken Rules, she's dealing with the loss of her sister, so you're dealing with grief there. And they're all relative. I love her books because they're quick and easy to get through. But whether she handles some of these tougher topics well, not sure. Also, the Summer of Broken Rules, they kind of fall in love in a week. So if you're not an insta-lovey girly, not your vibe. So the Summer of Broken Rules was a yes for me, but Kale Walther's books as general, if you are a Swiftie, go forth, have fun. But maybe overall. Let's end this video on a high note with another 100% yes series, and that is the Windy City series by Liz Tomford. This is an interconnected standalone series that follows, you know, sports players. I about said sports ball players there. But athletes who all, you know, compete in different sports, but who are all friends in the Windy City in Chicago. And the first book, Mile High, starts us out with Xander's, Evan, and Stevie. Evan and Stevie? Yeah. Then we have Ryan and Indy. Love. I hate this hard. This is so much easier. Then we have Ryan and Indy in the second book, and then we have Miller and Kai, and then most recently in Play Along we have Isaiah and Kennedy. And these books just have my heart. The Found Family is just great. The Right Move and Caught Up were 5 stars for me. Play Along was a 4.75. I gave Mile High 4.25. I think I stand by that rating. Granted, I am a very generous rater. I will say Mile High. I tell everyone I recommend giving Mile High a shot just because I think it's worth it to get introduced to the characters and really develop that found family, especially Rio. I love Rio so much, and there's so much to get along in that book. But I know Mile High, your mileage may vary. It is my least favorite of the series, and honestly, I don't know if The Right Move or Caught Up is my favorite. They're both 5 stars. Just because of recency bias, I think Caught Up because Kai and Miller, but also Ryan Shea. But I always say, give Mile High a shot. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But the rest of the series, solid. It's super solid in my opinion. So that was my 10 yes, no, or maybes on all of these books. Let me know how you feel about these book series. If there's anything that you think I should be reading, and we could do like a part 2 on like BookTok famous romances. I also think it would be fun to do like BookTok famous fantasies and like BookTok famous like thrillers and mysteries. Who knows? I haven't read a lot of those, but we could do that because I have things to say. And let me know what video you'd like me to make next.